Welcome back to The Real News. I'm talking to Forrest Hylton, one of the foremost U.S. specialists in Bolivia and South America, for that matter. Welcome back, Forrest. Look, very important thing. What is the long-term project of the white land-owning elites in the eastern lowlands? Do they really want to bring down the Evo Morales government?
The right wing in the eastern lowlands was opposed not only to the rise of Evo Morales' government, but especially to the so-called October agenda that Evo Morales was elected to implement. The basic planks of the October agenda are three: nationalization of hydrocarbon resources, the holding of a constitutional assembly to draft a new charter for the country's government, and third, land reform. Now, this is where they are most opposed to Evo Morales and those who demand changes in the redistribution of wealth and resources, because many of the right-wing elite that staged this referendum are owners of estates that consist of more than 10,000 hectares, which, if I'm not mistaken, is something on the order of 27,000 acres. And so these reforms, particularly the land reform, are reforms that the elite in Santa Cruz opposes often violently and quite frequently illegally, because the Santa Cruz elite benefited quite a bit from the neoliberal program that was implemented in Bolivia in 1985 and that lasted all the way through 2003. So in January 2005, the Santa Cruz Civic Committee led a series of civic strikes, massive civic strikes, demanding regional autonomy and the direct election of prefects. This was called the January agenda for January 2005, when the civic committees mobilized their followers. Now, when Evo Morales was elected, the prefectural elections took place for the first time, and 6 out of 9 prefects went to the opposition. So Evo Morales and his party control only 3 of 9 prefects. So it was pretty clear that the opposition to Evo Morales would be coming from the office of the prefect, and that was the whole idea behind the direct election of prefects. The election of prefects, in turn, was tied to this agenda of regional secession, which they call autonomy. So there's no question that their project all the way along has been to roll back the October agenda, most of which Evo Morales has already implemented, except for the land reform. And the land reform is really to come next. So it's not surprising that they would be digging in their heels in this way right now, and there's no question that their goal is to overthrow Evo Morales. But their goal was also to prevent him from coming to power, and they failed to do that.
There are 3 more referendums until June 22nd, right? So it concerns Beni, Pando, and Tarija, right?
Correct.
And after these 4 referendums, after June, what could happen from a legal point of view?
From a legal point of view, these departmental administrations led by prefects are supposedly going to form their own governments with their own laws, and they are going to take control of resources within their territory. But it's not clear how they're going to do that if the only type of military force they have is the youth group from Santa Cruz, the Juventud Cruceñista, which is poorly armed with baseball bats and pistols and is capable of committing low-intensity violence against supporters of Evo Morales.
Would it be fair to qualify them as a kind of neo-fascist group?
Yes, they're clearly a neo-fascist kind of group. Their ideology is openly white supremacist, and yet what's odd about that type of white supremacy, in contrast to the type of white supremacy that characterized the U.S. South, is that they promote the idea of Bolivia as a mixed-race nation in which lighter-skinned people happen to exercise natural qualities of leadership. But the dark side of that vision of harmonious race mixture is a virulent anti-Indian racism, which frequently spills over into violence. And though these youth groups would seem to be kind of thuggish neo-fascist groups, of course they do essentially follow the signals that are given out through the prefect's office, the mayor's offices, and the Civic Committee of Santa Cruz itself. Now, Tarija is important because While Santa Cruz has 11% of gas resources, Tarija has 86% of all reserves. So really, that's the key department. But it is Santa Cruz that exercises the political leadership and really sets the direction for the other 3 departments contained in the half moon, which is to say Tarija, Beni, and Pando.